one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I'm coming. I promise you, on my life, I'm coming. From the first snap, man. From the first second. What are we gonna do, man? All back against the wall. All back is against the wall.
I'm ready for whatever right now.
Welcome back. Oh my God. Yo, I was looking at somebody say, I think it was Shannon Sharp. I can't remember who it was. I was watching shows before I got on here. Listen, I was listening to somebody, I'm pretty sure it was Shannon, say we didn't expect for the Chiefs to be in the AFC Championship game. Well, listen, maybe in that sports media where y'all get to be week to week type of motherfuckers, where y'all don't have to actually make a consensus type of prediction for teams. Y'all just change y'all opinion on a week to week basis. Myself did not fold. I never folded. I told you guys like a month ago that the AFC Championship game would be Baltimore and Kansas City. I didn't know the seeding at the time. I didn't know who was going to be in the playoffs at the time. I just knew it was going to be two dudes. I knew it was two guys who was better than everybody else, who I felt like was leading their teams better than everybody else. And I had a feeling. No, it wasn't a feeling. It was a prediction at this point, a spoiler rather, like my man Paul Heyman liked to say. It was going to be Baltimore and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, bro. Listen, I'm not no Nostradamus or nothing like that. I just so happen to watch these games. I happen to understand a little bit of what I'm watching. And listen, I said it all year. Josh Allen had a good year, but if you watching the Bills and you telling me that Josh Allen done been that much better than Lamar or Pat Mahomes, then I think you're lying. I don't think you know how to watch football. And this weekend, a lot of racism done got kicked off on X. I told y'all, bro, eventually I'm not going to be on X no more, man. X is not a place for anybody with common sense or sanity should be, especially ever since Elon Musk took over that shit. You just let the racists get to just fly rampant, but they was flying rampant before that. So, you know, we live in a white man's world. They're not going to punish white people for being racist. It just is what it is. But hey, I just want Buffalo fans to know nobody feels bad for you for shoveling all that snow for $20 an hour just so your team could lose a couple hours later. Listen, I wasn't talking to. I posted a tweet when the Buffalo Bills beat Pittsburgh. And I said, it's a real shame because y'all finna lose to Kansas City next week. And a Buffalo fan tweeted me, well, that's not what happened recently. And I was confused. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? They ain't never beat Kansas City in the playoffs. And he said, what happened the last time we played Kansas City? And I told him, I said, bro, you do know that's the regular season. When have y'all beaten them in the season? And he said, LOL, we gonna find out. Now, I could tweet him right now. I could go and tweet him. I could go be a real menace. But I'm not going to do that because I know he thought about me today when they lost that game. Just like I know them Charger fans who was going at me on the Charger video earlier this year was thinking real long and deep, pause, when they kept losing and Herbert kept letting them down. But we're not here to talk about teams that ain't even in the playoffs. Listen. Pat Mahomes, the greatest quarterback I have seen with my own two eyes. Listen, the most talented quarterback. Let me put it like that, because Brady is obviously the GOAT. But I'm telling you right now, Brady got to pray. Brady got to pray that Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson don't scoop up at least 5 Super Bowls. Because I understand the ridiculousness of trying to capture 7. If Lamar and Pat Mahomes can capture like 4 of them things, couple MVPs like they already got, Brady not going to be the GOAT in my mind, bro. I'm going to just be a band with you. Because Brady can't do what these two motherfuckers can do. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm taking a victory lap tonight because I've been saying for the last couple years, the best 2 quarterbacks in football, I could care less about the immediate results. Watching the games, I know who I think the best 2 quarterbacks are, and that's Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. The fact that they finally get to face off against each other in the AFC Championship game, well, that's just beautiful. That's good timing. That's majestic, you know? It's like when the dark magician and the blue eyes white dragon come face to face. It's going to be a battle. When Yugi come up face to face with Kaiba, it's going to be Kaiba usually going to lose. But so, you know what? Let me use a different example. Different. That's an example to use when we talking about Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. And y'all know I love Josh Allen. If you watch the show, if you're new to the show, I imagine you could be a Buffalo fan if you're new to the show. This is going to be a tough one for you because Buffalo fans talked a lot of shit about Lamar Jackson leading into this game. But I don't let the fans bother me as much as I used to. So I'm not going to kill Buffalo too much. I'm not going to kill Buffalo. I'm going to kill y'all raggedy ass, punk ass fans. Listen, y'all did all that snowing. I saw dudes pulling snow out with his bare hands, jumping through fire and shit like that. For what? For the same result every single year. Y'all kept getting off easy because the media not going to pay no attention to the white knights. And y'all know how much I love Joe Burrow, but Josh Allen, but he is a white knight to the media. He not going to get the criticism he's supposed to get. They changed the overtime rules a couple years ago because this motherfucker lost in overtime because of how much they loved Josh Allen. There's nothing they won't do for Josh Allen. And time again, the way you connect the dubs to his name when they win the game is the same way I'm connecting them motherfuckers to his name when they lose them. Y'all connect them to Lamar Jackson. It don't matter who play bad in that game with Lamar. Lamar Jackson always the one with the dub, with the L at the end of it. They give Lamar Jackson a playoff loss for a game he didn't even play in. Lamar didn't play in that playoff game last year. They still connected to his playoff record. So what I'm supposed to do about Josh Allen losing all these games to Pat Mahomes? I was told that at home, no shot the Bills lose. This is what we've been waiting for, to get Pat Mahomes in our own building. Oh man, this is it. This he been beating us because they've been in Kansas. Oh, so he haven't been beating you just because he been in Kansas City. Let me tell you something. If you watch this game, this is one of the best games I think Kansas City's offense done played. One of the most efficient games they played early on in this game, all game, which showed me Pat Mahomes just knows how to play against the Buffalo Bills, bro. He has no fear against Buffalo. Not to mention, I think what people continuously forgot going into this game, this ain't the regular season, my guy. When you have a Patrick Mahomes, when you have a quarterback that's on the level of a Pat Mahomes who's done the things that he's done in the playoffs, that's 2 different quarterbacks, my guy. the season quarterback, the playoff quarterback. Facing Tom Brady in the regular season was one thing. Facing Tom Brady in the playoffs was a whole nother animal. It's just levels to this thing, which is why I picked Pat Mahomes and them boys to win. I had no concern about them being in Buffalo. The man done played in the Super Bowl 3 different times. None of those 3 Super Bowl trips were in Kansas City. That's a bigger road game than playing on the road in the playoffs. That's the biggest road game of the playoffs. So to me, them being in Buffalo never bothered me. Buffalo cold, Kansas City cold. None of that shit bothered me. The biggest things, if you look at this game, because to me, what people try to do is use the external things, the outside, the off the field stuff to try to boost up this game. When in actuality, in my opinion, if the analysts did the homework that they should have done and stopped being so fucking lazy, they would have seen Josh Allen didn't play that much better than Pat Mahomes, bro. Josh Allen and them boys played from behind a lot this year. And so obviously his stats look the way they look. And yes, he done had regression out of Stephon Diggs. Pat Mahomes don't have a number 1 receiver. So all these excuses that I'm hearing from, Buffalo fans, from the media, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't. I done seen Lamar Jackson have to overcome. Nobody gave a damn. I done seen Pat Mahomes have to overcome. He forced you to give a damn because he still won. So I'm not trying to hear this Josh Allen excuse shit. I'm just not. And I love Josh Allen more than the next person, but it's like I done said before. As great as Josh Allen is, at some point in time, some of the recklessness in his game is going to cost him. Now, I don't think recklessness in his game cost him as far as how he run and things like that. But the decision making in these games at times for Josh Allen, it just become real suspect. Not taking the check now on certain play. You just down 3, bro. You're not down a touchdown. I understand you want to beat Kansas. See, that's the thing that I felt like could get to the Buffalo Bills. You so addicted to wanting to beat Kansas City that you get outside of yourself. Kansas City ain't addicted to beating you. They just expect to beat you. So they don't have to play outside their frames in order to beat you. They don't have to start doing shit that they wouldn't do in other games to beat you. When you look at the Buffalo Bills and you look at how it feel like at times they lose themselves in these games against Kansas City because they want to beat Kansas City so bad. That is things in the game, and I'm going to be quite frank with you. As smooth as Buffalo played to start this game, this might have been like not counting in the season, this might have been like the Buffalo didn't make too many mistakes. Like Buffalo played as clean a game as you could play. The problem is they couldn't throw the ball past the short little dink and dunks that they did. They could run the ball, but they couldn't throw the ball. In the past, they could throw the ball, not run the ball. It just is what it is. And when I say they do things that you wouldn't do, Josh Allen takes that check down against most teams he playing against. Josh Allen is not passing up on it. Now, I understand Josh Allen like to throw picks and shit like that. But Josh Allen is taking that check. He taking the easy play in order to keep going against most teams. Against Pat Mahomes, he might be thinking, man, I can get it all right there. And it's just those little lapses of judgments at times. Now, one of my biggest problems with the Chiefs is that they keep not the Chiefs, with the Bills, is the excuses. What excuse are you going, not from Buffalo, I'm talking about from fans and the media. In this game, the Buffalo Bills, they got a turnover on downs because of a stupid, I've been telling y'all about bad coaching. Well, Sean McDermott, come on down, brother. Sean McDermott went for a fake fucking punt on the in Buffalo territory, bruh. Meaning when the Chiefs got this ball back, they would have like 30 yards to go for a score. At that point in time in the game, why would you do that? It's not the fourth quarter with minutes left and you have to go score. Why would you attempt something like that on that side of the field? This is what I'm saying when I say coaches do stupid shit that costs players. Bro, I don't care how good you think your defense is. Motherfucker, you not the one who got to go out there and defend Pat Mahomes in this offense. They do. Why do you think they want to work with a 30-yard field rather than having to force him to go all the way up and down the field? And I hear this logic that people say, well, he was going to score on us anyways. I don't care. If he have to go the length of the field, it's a better chance of him making a mistake than if we give him a 30-yard fucking field. That's my first problem with McDermott. My second, well, that was the first thing, and not necessarily a problem, even though I do hate the bad coaching at times, but that's the first thing with McDermott. I'm going to get to McDermott in a minute, but that was the first thing. Then as a Buffalo fan, you get a fumble, but you get a fumble. The McCole Hardman, who would be walking to the Kansas City or the Baltimore, whichever one. I'm not sure. I wouldn't cut his ass. You touch the ball twice. You fumble it twice. Once you get it back because a dude on your team, mind you, boy, the Packers had a hell of a fumble recovery last night by one of their players when Nixon almost fumbled that shit on a kick return. But I'm going to get to that game in a few also. But you get McCole Hardman to fumble the ball out of the back of the end zone, meaning instead of Kansas City getting the 7 points they was about to get to go up 2 scores, you get the ball back. Kansas City gets no points. McCole Hardman would have been fired on the spot for that shit. You cannot touch the ball twice in this type of game and fumble it twice in this type of game. You would never see the field again. I'm just keeping it a whole band with you. I think Kansas City is going to learn at the end of the season, regardless of what happened. I don't think this will be a Super Bowl season for them. I just think it's too many mistakes made by players on that team. However, when you look at Kansas City's players and the players who done held them back in different areas this year, it'll be tough for Kansas City not to go all out in the offseason to try to bring over legitimate talent. You just can't keep relying on these dudes who done been around the league a couple times, who done hop from team to team, who not guys who you can count on a weekly basis. I think you do Pat Mahomes a huge disservice continuously putting these type of dudes out there. Like in the biggest game of the year for us right now, this motherfucker fumbled it twice on 2 touches. That's insane. One time we did get it back, and we still ended up scoring on that drive. The next time, it could have cost us the game. So that's the other break that you get if you the Bills. The next break you get as a Bills fan, if you're a Bills fan, your defense gets your third down stop. They get the third down stop twice. You don't score. The other thing you get on that last drive where your kicker missed that field goal wide right, because I know everybody going to blame the field goal kicker, and we're going to get to that field goal kicker in the other game. Buffalo wanting to blame the kicker in this situation is funny to me because this is the same drive in which Josh Allen chose not to take the check down. Not to mention on the throw that he missed to the dude who was open in the back of the end zone through 4 Chief players. If Josh Allen just stepped up into the pocket and made that throw, now I understand the pressure was coming from one side of the, I saw where the pressure was coming off his left side. Josh Allen is good enough, smart enough, and too athletic a quarterback not to be able to make a play right there to step up in the pocket and make that throw. At times when you have a strong arm, like I said about Jordan Love, you get in the tendency to where you don't make the right throw. Not as far as like the decision making. I'm talking about sometimes when these dudes with ridiculous arm strength can make every throw, they don't make the technique throw the way they supposed. Step up in the pocket and make this throw. That would have got the ball to them. They didn't. That's another play that you lose. You fumble the ball. And instead of Kansas City falling on it, they try to scoop and score. I cannot tell you how irritated I would have been if I was Andy Reid. I cannot express to you how irritated. I would have been livid. It would have took a lot to calm me down on the sideline. That's why I'm not a coach. And because of a lot of other reasons. But if I'm Andy Reid, I'm furious. Why are we trying to scoop and score this shit when we could just fall on it? We right here in the red zone if we get it back. Just fall on the ball. In this type of game, when the game is this close, why are we trying to play Superman? Why somebody want to be? This is what you saw when these dudes trying to scoop and score. That's somebody trying to play the hero. That's somebody saying, I'm going to make the play to end this game. When in actuality, all you got to do is fall on the ball. If we a team, all you care about is us falling on the ball to make sure we get this ball back to give Mahomes an opportunity to seal this game for us. You're not thinking to yourself, I'm going to make the big play. You thinking to yourself, somebody on our team going to make the big play. So Kansas City trying to scoop and score prevented them from getting the ball back. Another break that you get for the for the Bills. Before that play, when Josh Allen fumbled the ball, McDuffie, who had some rough plays in this game, in my opinion, if you watch the game. He had some plays in this game that was un-McDuffie-like. But McDuffie, instead of going for the actual interception, he knocked the ball down with one hand when he could have just went up with two hands and got this interception. Not only do he miss the interception, him touching the ball fucked it up from the other dude getting the interception who the ball was going right to. Trying to be Superman. And I understand making a play. I get it. But why go up with one hand when you could have easily went up with two hands? I done seen so many DBs drop gimme interceptions this weekend. The Chiefs made so many dumbass plays to lose themselves the game at the end of this game, none of which included Pat Mahomes, which is why I said multiple times throughout the season, my only fear with the Chiefs is somebody else gonna cost them, not Mahomes. I said it. If you look at every single game they done played this year, win, loss, struggle, play good. Mahomes done played good enough throughout every single one of these games to win these games. The games that they lose, Mahomes might make mistakes. He might do this, but this is a quarterback who understands I don't care about turnovers. I need to find a way to win us this game. And I'm not a dude who's going to be turning the ball over a lot anyways. Not to mention, I have a good enough defense to where I can afford a turnover or two. I got to do what I got to do to win this game. That's why I don't really get a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Pat Mahomes. Now, I know Josh Allen turning it over a little bit more than the other two. However, I done explained to you before how the interceptions they throw is not the same as other interceptions by other quarterbacks because they understand how good they are, what they do to move the needle for a team. I told you, if the Chiefs can figure out how to minimize the mistakes from everybody else, Pat Mahomes and them boys going to still end up in the AFC Championship game. I was looking at the teams in the AFC. I promise you I was. I've been watching the games all season, and a couple of weeks, a month ago it was when I did the show where I was like, yo, I know who's going to be in the AFC Championship game. It's going to be the Chiefs and the Ravens. Yeah, it was because Lamar, and I told you, the only other team that I could see getting there or preventing that for being a matchup was Buffalo. But it wasn't because I thought Buffalo was better than Baltimore or Kansas City. But I understood Josh Allen's good enough to where he can knock off one of those two and take their place. But team-wise, I just didn't think Buffalo was a better team than Baltimore and Kansas City. Not to mention, Buffalo couldn't beat a better Kansas City team in the past. It was very hard for me to see them beating this Kansas City team just because they were at home. Why? Because while this ain't the same Kansas City team, this ain't the same Buffalo team. And I kept trying to tell people that. Like, bro, I get it. Buffalo beat some decent teams down the stretch. They beat some good teams down the stretch. I get everything. It's just how you got to understand what you're watching when you're watching it, bro. And I'm not taking nothing away from Buffalo, but as good as I think they are, as good as I think they were, I didn't look at them and say to myself, they playing that much better than Kansas City. Just because Kansas City didn't put themselves in a hole where they had to win their last 6-7 games in a row, that didn't make, like, Josh Allen and them boys put themselves in a position to where they had to win out like that. Mahomes and Lamar didn't. That's why I never jumped on here and said, oh, yeah, Buffalo playing better than these two teams. Because it's recency bias and it's that white knight media type of treatment that they give you, not acknowledging that Josh Allen put them in this position to have to win these many games going forward. They just cared about the result. And so that's why it wasn't hard for me to pick this game, to be completely honest with you. But when you look at the game, like we were saying, or like I was saying, look at all the breaks that the Kansas City Chiefs basically gave to Buffalo. And Buffalo still couldn't capitalize. I mean, I don't know what team don't win that game after McCole Hardman's dickhead type of play. After the defense do not scoop up the fumble. Because you immediately pick up a fourth down conversion after the defense just tried to scoop and score it. Just mistake after boneheaded mistake by the Chiefs, and you still lose the game at home. So I'm not trying to hear none of these excuses and shit. Both defenses was giving up plays until the fourth quarter. Both defenses locked in the fourth quarter. This came up to who can make the play. Who could make a play when they needed to make a play. And the offense for the Chiefs, the offense for the Bills couldn't make the last play that they needed to make to put themselves in a better position to get a field goal. And Buffalo know their kicker. They know the win conditions. They should have known they needed more yards to get closer for this kicker. But listen, in the NFL, You don't trust no kicker unless it's Justin Tucker, bro. That's where we at. No kicker is trustworthy unless their name is Justin Tucker. That just seemed to be the case at this moment. But listen, I saw a post that said, will Josh Allen ever win a Super Bowl? Now, I'm not going to divulge into that type of ignorance. I don't like it when that question is asked for any top tier quarterback or player. But I especially hate when that question is asked or that topic is broached without the proper context. This is why I said a couple weeks ago, I actually don't like that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes all play in the same conference. Like, it don't matter how many times people boost it up when we see them play against each other. Oh, it's a great matchup. It's great. Bro, do you think the NFL would have been better if Peyton Manning and Tom Brady got to play each other in Super Bowls rather than the AFC Championship game? Like, this notion that we getting the best of football when we see these dudes play each other is false. I would much rather see Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes play each other in a Super Bowl. To me, my irritation, and I'm really irritated with it, is the NFC. I done been on a tirade the last couple, multiple shows to end the season. I don't like how weak the NFC is. I don't. I mean, come on, bro. I just sat down and watched Jared Goff take on Baker Mayfield to see who made it to the NFC Championship game. How I'm supposed to take that? How I'm supposed to look at that game and think to myself, oh yeah, it's top tier quarterbacking right here. No. Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen was putting on a quarterback clinic early in this game, even though they both did rely heavily, well, more so Allen, relying on that the run game. I'm going to tell you what I think is interesting. A lot of people have been praising the offensive coordinator for the Bills who took over after they fired Dorsey all season because of how good James Cook had been playing. And I said, I don't really want to give him too much credit because the passing game done got marketably better, like worse. Like, the passing game is nowhere near as good as it's been in the past. Yeah, they got a good running game now, but it's not really a mix of both. It's more of Josh Allen putting on the Superman cape on a week-to-week basis. It's not really a smooth offensive operation. And when you look at the Chiefs tonight and you look at Buffalo ran more plays and whatnot. But look at how easier it looked for the Chiefs when they was making shit happen compared to Buffalo, who really only made shit happen when they was running the ball or running it with Josh Allen. The pass game really was they threw the short routes, the little quick dink and dunks, but the pass game, they couldn't create big plays. And that's a problem. In my opinion, you can only dink and dunk your way for so long. I understand people going to bring up Tom Brady immediately. 2.9 billion people consume duck a year. 3 billion consume shrimp a year. 14 billion consume sardines. 75 billion consume chicken. That's not shocking. Where the fuck was the cow? Oh, okay, I guess I looked at the list too late. But what was I even talking about, bro? See, this is what happened when I pay attention to something else and I get distracted. This is the type of shit that happen. The boy just loses train of thought. Now, I just want to point out, people was telling me, oh, you got to stop smoking. That's why you be forgetting stuff. Haven't smoked in God knows how long. So what's the excuse for me forgetting stuff right now? Thank you. Anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about, but we're going to stay with this game. When it comes to the passing game and the offense for Buffalo, I just don't think it's fluid enough. And when you looked at Pat Mahomes and how he was able, the offense for the Chiefs, at least the passing offense and the run offense, they favored each other more so than what I saw from the Bills. And when it came time for the Bills to make plays in the pass, when you can't get the big play, bro, you get bit at some point. That's why I said I'd rather a team have to go all the way down the field than have a short field, especially if that team cannot create big plays. If they got to dink and dunk their way all the way up the field, it's a better chance that a turnover can happen. Whereas if they hitting us over the head with big plays, the Bills done lost the ability to hit the big play. And I think that was a huge reason why the season looked the way it looked for Buffalo this year. I don't know if this is the end of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I got no clue. I think when you start to spend more time talking about if we gonna be together and shit like that, then we probably closer to the end than anything, because when you happily with each other, you're not thinking about the breakup. But when all the reporters is asking you, is he gonna be here? Is this the end? Yada yada yada. I think we closer to the end, and then I could see people saying, I don't think Stephon Diggs is washed. I just don't think Stephon Diggs really want to be in Buffalo that much anymore. And I think he fuck with Josh Allen. I just don't think I'm pretty sure he tired of losing in cold ass Buffalo, bro. He probably done come to the conclusion, yeah, we not winning with this core. And, he would probably be right. Now, do Josh Allen still have yeah, obviously. You put together a team around Josh Allen, you'll still have a window for a Super Bowl. The window not going to close for a superstar quarterback until their skills diminish, or unless the team just choose not to build around them. Now, I haven't been a fan of how Buffalo done built around Josh Allen so far, which is why I'm almost certain they aren't going to just get off of Stephon Diggs, because the dude you replaced, that your best offensive weapon this year was a tight end, Dalton Kincaid. Is that who you going into next year with? Just Dalton Kincaid is your number one option? That has seemed crazy to me. So if I'm Buffalo, if they do get rid of Stephon Diggs, which that would be crazy to me. But if you do get rid of Stephon Diggs, I think you should be trying to trade him in order to bring over a pick that you can bring in another receiver. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make a change, for the simple reason you dealt with a lot of injuries this year. A lot of key pieces on the team got hurt. And I know a lot of Buffalo fans will be like, well, if this dude wasn't hurt, then we would have looked. Bro, the Ravens didn't have Lamar Jackson last year. We lost in the playoffs. It is what it is, bro. I ain't playing this game with you. I'm just not. I don't care what would have been if this dude was healthy. That dude, I don't care. You're 0-3 against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs now. It is what it is. You had to play and win with the dudes out there just like Pat Mahomes had to do. Simple as that. So I am interested to see how the offseason look for Buffalo. I don't imagine Von Miller will be back next year. In games like this, you pay him to make an impact. He has not had an impact since coming to this team. I understand the injury that he sustained when he got there. But listen, as much as I like Buffalo, Von Miller not having, okay, so Von Miller could just be at the end of his greatness. Like the injuries could have taken a toll, yada, yada, yada. And I understand there's great players on the Buffalo Bills. However, when you look at the big name pass rushers who could actually help Von Miller get open, they don't have those. I understand that Ed Oliver and the other dudes is good on that team. They are not the level of an Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack. Guys is going to help Von Miller get easy looks to get a pass rush. Now, like I said, Von might just not be the same player no more. So that is what it is. But I don't think that they need to worry about going out looking for a pass rusher in the offseason. You should be trying to build up this offense as much as possible. The Bills' defense is fine. Their offense is not good enough. Point blank period. Now, I understand their defense got ran on tonight also, but you could fix that with injuries. And Matt Milano being back is going to help a lot of things. Tre'Davious White, if he can stay healthy, is going to help a lot of things. Rasul Douglas being there, and he was there tonight, but he is an improvement. You're going to get him in the system for another year. It only can work wonders. The problem for me, for Buffalo is offensively, bro, you just relying on Josh Allen far too much. Like I said for the Ravens the last couple years when it came to Lamar Jackson. And I understand that you have Stephon Diggs. I get that. So I'm not telling you that they have done nothing. I understand Stephon Diggs is an all-pro level player, and they done got him to help him. However, to not do anything afterwards, to think Stephon Diggs is everything, and you look at other teams evolving around you, and you keep standing pat saying, oh, well, we got Stephon Diggs. Oh, we got Stephon. To me, that's just not good enough. And if you Buffalo, you can enjoy beating the teams like the Steelers, lower ranked teams in the playoffs. But when you have to play a Chiefs, a Ravens, a Cincinnati, that's when you need your offense to be able to not just have to rely on Josh Allen. You want to know that you go into those games with the weaponry to compete against those other top tier quarterbacks and top tier teams. I don't think Buffalo is really giving Josh Allen much support other than, Josh Allen, you go out there and be great with Stephon Diggs. And sure, people will say Dalton Kincaid. That's not enough. Like, plus I'm getting real sick of this tight end shit that people keep pulling. I understand the greatness of a tight end, I really do. But when y'all compare a tight end to a great receiver, that just show me how little some people know about football. Because to have a great receiver is completely different than having a great tight end. Because a great receiver usually can do far more than a great tight end. I know we done been spoiled with the Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, the Gronkowski's, the Mark Andrews. I get it. Those are great tight ends. I'm still taking great receivers over every single one of them motherfuckers. Like, it's no question. So, in my opinion, and really one of the biggest things that I noticed this year with the Bills, the fact that y'all couldn't draw up an offense that included Diggs and your two tight ends, Knox and Kincaid, that's a problem. So, to be quite frank with you, you might just need to bring in a better offensive coordinator, to be honest. Now, I don't know if you'll find a good enough offensive coordinator that's not a head coach or that's not wanting to be a head coach. However, you're going to have to figure something out, because when you have a Dalton Kincaid, a Dawson Knox, I'm not telling you those is great tight ends, but I'm telling you they're good enough tight ends for Buffalo, how they use them. And you got Stephon Diggs and you got James Cook emerging as a number one back for you. Your offensive coordinator should be able to know how to draw up an offense that keeps all of those dudes involved and takes the pressure off of Josh Allen. Not to mention, Josh Allen, I don't know how long you can keep having him take these hits that he take. Like, I don't have no problem with the quarterback running. Do you see how Josh Allen take contact? Josh Allen not avoiding contact. He running right into it. He taking tough hits. That's not what most of these quarterbacks is taking. Lamar Jackson is getting out of bounds. Pat Mahomes is getting out of bounds, or they sliding. They're not taking these unnecessary hits that Josh Allen take. And at some point in time, your body going to start to break down. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm trying to save Josh Allen from himself and from us. We have to put talent around him so that these games become easier for him. But we also need to put talent around him so he don't have to do this shit every game. Because we can't, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't mind him doing it in the playoffs, because that's when you need to be at your best. Josh Allen do this shit all year. He take these type of hits. If you watch Lamar this year, you can see he clearly scaled back the running. First playoff game, he brought it all the way back. I got no problem with you using your running ability, but I want Josh Allen to be able to play this game for a long time. And the hits that he take unnecessarily in games that don't even play the role and that don't matter as much as the games that I know he'll get to, that I need him to be healthy for. So the Texans got the Bills got a lot to do, because another thing is this: the longer you keep relying on Josh Allen just to carry the ship for you, the sooner you're going to start seeing the Texans take a step back in the AFC with so many other great quarterbacks. And maybe the other quarterback's not as good as Josh Allen. I'm not telling you that Burrow, CJ Stroud, Herbert, and these Lawrence, Richardson, I'm not telling you that these dudes is better than Allen. What I am telling you is if those teams put together a good enough team around those players, you can start to see those teams elevate over Josh Allen and his Bills. And that is the problem. Look at Miami. How long you going to rely on Tua to be not good enough so you can win that division? At some point in time, you got to get ahead of the problem. And to me, Buffalo not realizing that they don't have enough offensively. Like right now, they rely on if Josh Allen play good, we win. If he play bad, we lose. That cannot be the game. I said that with Lamar. It cannot just be on your quarterback to be great every single game. Do you know how hard it is to be good every game, let alone to be great enough to win your team the game every chance? Some of the best players won't have a fucking impact on at least 3 of the games this season, maybe more, because they got good enough people around them to take off a load off of them here and there every game, here and there for a couple games, because you can't expect your best players to be the best player on the field every game of the season. That's why it's other dudes on the team. That's why we train. That's why we work out, so other people can have moments. Well, Josh Allen seemingly having to be the best player on your offense every game in order for your team, not even just your best player on your offense, the best player on your team. That's a problem. And I don't think, it don't matter what people tell me, it don't matter what the media say, I don't think they've done enough for Josh Allen over the last couple years in order to get him to where he need to be. You keep talking to me about these interceptions and shit that he throw. What have they done to help his interceptions? Because the run game just came this year halfway through the season. So you didn't have a run game to stop him from throwing the ball too much. You don't have other receivers outside of Stephon Diggs to help him from throwing interceptions. You don't have the play calling since Dayball left to help him stop him from throwing interceptions. So at what point in time is it on other people to help Josh Allen in this offense than it is just us putting everything on Josh Allen? That's just my thought. When I look at Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, however, listen, at some point in time, I told you, in order to beat the man, you got to beat the man. And much like Dame Lillard never beating Steph Curry, I can't pick him until I see him actually do it. Like I can't take Toronto over LeBron James until I actually see them do it because they haven't done it. I'm not taking Buffalo over Kansas City. I said it going into the game. Pat Mahomes and these, I don't know what games y'all be watching, but Pat Mahomes and his team played good enough football this year. I don't know why people was acting like they was just a bunch of bums. They won their division. And Pat Mahomes in the playoffs is not dictated just because he played at Kansas City. Look at the games. The motherfucker's still out there making great plays. Some of his best plays was made in the Super Bowl. Once again, those are not played in Kansas City. So when the whole notion was, oh, they playing on the road, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. Because I know the greatness of Pat Mahomes. Playing on the road shouldn't matter. I know the greatness of Andy Reid and the other dudes who done been there, done that. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. They done been there, done that. Snead. They done been there, done that. Isaiah Pacheco. Been there, done that. This is a Super Bowl winning organization with the best quarterback in football leading to him. They were going to come into this game unafraid and ready to throw down. Point blank, period. If anybody thought they was going to come into this game timid, scared, like some of the dumbass topics on the ESPN and Fox or FS1, were foolish. This is a well-oiled machine, a tested machine. And that's the biggest thing for me when it comes to these AFC teams. They are tested because they have to play against each other on a regular basis. That's why I'm taking whoever come out of the AFC as a Super Bowl winner. And do understand, San Francisco is good enough to beat either Baltimore or Kansas City. I just don't think they're going to beat either Kansas City or Baltimore. When Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson get to a Super Bowl, to me, or Josh Allen, to me, it's just different. Because if those three, as you've seen from Pat Mahomes, still to be proven by Lamar and Josh, those three are game changers. The only three game changers in football right now, in my opinion, for their teams. They legitimately changed. They are legit the rising tide for their teams. When they get to a Super Bowl and understand, bro, I have a chance to do this, it's just hard for me not to take those three. It's just hard. Especially after seeing what Pat Mahomes did to San Francisco in his first Super Bowl. That shit was crazy. I'm never going to forget that. When I look at when I look at San Fran, because now we hopping over to San Fran, I just don't think they deserve to be in the Super Bowl, to keep it a buck with you. Not only do I not like y'all stupid ass fans, as I've come to realize this year, I don't like the San Francisco media. Bro, Brock Purdy played an average game last night, with his best drive probably being the last drive. And it's hard for me to even say that was his best drive because all he did was check it down a couple times and have his players make the plays. I'm not telling you there's nothing wrong with that. However, when the media come out and say Brock Purdy already got 3 wins in the playoffs, he done been to 2 NFC championship games, like putting all this stuff on Brock Purdy as in it's Brock Purdy. Now, we done said multiple times on the channel, we understand quarterback wins. Sometimes it's a quarterback stat, sometimes it ain't. Just watch the game. To say last night was Brock Purdy winning that game for this team is absolutely ridiculous. 3 interceptions got dropped by the Packers. Now, I bet you those 3 dudes is beating themselves up because all 3 of the picks was easy interceptions. hit them right dead smack in the hands, and they dropped every single one of them. Every single one of them. That's inexcusable. I don't think some people now. Let me buckle down on this, because that might have been the most frustrating thing I saw all weekend. Almost every single game. I can't remember too many in that Baltimore game. Oh, Lamar almost had one in the end zone. Matter of fact, every single game, easy interceptions were dropped by the defenders, which was further proof as to why these motherfuckers play defense. The Packers should be ashamed of themselves. They had 3 interceptions that if they even catch one of them, possibly change the trajectory of this game. Also with the Packers, to run the ball as good as you've been running and still lose this game, to make some of the plays you made and still lose this game. Now, what I will say about this, Jordan Love had 2 interceptions in the back, and the last one really was just absolutely fucking stupid. But it's like I said about Jordan Love before. When you have an arm talent of the arm talent that he have, look at his games, some of the throws he make, and I said it coming into this game. I said some of them throws he made against Dallas are gonna get picked off if he don't hone into his technique. The bouncing up and down, making these sideways, falling backwards off the back. I understand Jordan Love got that type of arm talent. But at some point in time, we just need you to stand in the pocket and deliver a throw clean. We don't need you jumping up and down. We don't need you leaning to the side, falling to the side, falling backwards, fading away. We don't need you jump skipping. We just need you to drop back, step up, make the throw. We don't need to see how great your arm is every single time you make a throw. That's what Jordan Love gonna have to learn. Just because I can make every throw don't mean I need to attempt every throw. And that rolling out to the side and then throwing it back across the body like Brett Favre did, yeah, I don't know what was going on right there with Jordan Love, but that was an absolutely stupid fucking play. But he'll learn from that. He gonna learn from it. I didn't get mad when I saw it. I was just like, you can't do that, Jordan. You cannot do that. But my guy's gonna learn from that. However, what I will say is, I feel just as good as I picked Green Bay to win that game. Green Bay should have won that game. This is further proof to me. Kyle Shanahan does not know how to coach against great quarterbacks, bruh. And I love Kyle Shanahan. But this is like the umpteenth time. And he should have lost this game. And I imagine he will lose to Jordan Love in the future. The only great quarterback he's seen to know how to coach against is Aaron Rodgers. And that's because Aaron Rodgers can't beat the 49ers. But these AFC quarterbacks that's good, it don't seem like he know how to coach against them. He done lost against Stafford in the playoffs. Like, Kyle Shanahan against great quarterbacks is ridiculous to me at this point. The 49ers should have lost this game. The 49ers did not look good in this game. I don't even know what Nick Bosa and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. Chase Young is just not a pass rusher at the moment. I don't know what they're gonna have to do for him to get back to where he was his rookie season, but he is just not having no type of impact on the game right now. But as bad as what word do I want to use? As beatable as the 49ers looked against against Green Bay, I don't imagine it'll happen against Detroit. For the simple reason, Detroit don't got the quarterback and they don't got the head coach. You got Matt LaFleur and you got a great quarterback at the helm. That's going to be a test for the 49ers. Jared Goff going to probably throw about 3, 4, 5 interceptions against the 49ers. I don't expect that to even be a competitive game, which is my real irritation. Detroit don't stop the run good. I imagine that Christian McCaffrey is going to run all over them. They got a terrible secondary with terrible cornerback play. So I imagine this will be one of them routine games for the 49ers. And that's pretty much why I don't think they deserve to make the playoffs or the Super Bowl. Because when your test to get to the Super Bowl was a rookie, basically Jordan Love, who you almost lost to, and really nothing, Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff. Meanwhile, Lamar was sitting back waiting for Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I really just don't like that, to be a band with you. Now, Debo got hurt in that game. I haven't heard what the injury was, so I'm just expecting that he'll be back next week. If we find out something else, I will definitely say so on the show later on in the week. But I'm not happy with that that the 49ers is headed to the Super Bowl. And I understand that's not official yet, but it's no reality in which I can see Detroit beating them. I just don't see Detroit beating the 49ers. I don't think Detroit good enough. I don't even think if Aiden Hutchinson play out of his mind, and he been playing out of his mind, I just don't think that see, Brock Purdy has come back down to earth. Because he looked bad against, and that's my problem. Look at all the reports coming out. Oh, Brock Purdy shut down the haters. He silenced his doubters. How? What games is we watching? Like, this is why I say, man, something got to happen to the sports media, sports journalism, and all that type of shit. Like, this whole industry need to be rewritten, because the fact that we can sit down, watch how bad Brock Purdy just played, watch C-Mac and the other dudes save him in that game, and still say Brock Purdy won them that game. That's absolutely insane. But you got people bitching about how Lamar Jackson was able to carry his team and all these other. But somehow people will jump on Twitter and jump in Yahoo to write their little things to talk, or ESPN articles to talk about how Brock Purdy just silenced his doubters in a game where Brock Purdy should have had 3 fucking picks, where he did not play good football. But sure, Brock Purdy silenced his doubters. This is why I don't like the 49ers at the moment, bro. I really, see, it was one thing when we watched him, Brock Purdy, and, you know, I understand how to judge him because but now seeing how the media done basically turned this little motherfucker into one of they white knights, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I done said it before. I watch Brock Purdy. He give you an opportunity to pick him off because sometimes the throw's not there because of his arm. But a lot of interceptions get dropped. If the Lions catch every single pick that Brock Purdy throw next week, they can win that game. I'm not picking them to win the game, and I don't think that they'll catch every pick because I think they'll be getting beat for most of the game. Because I don't like their cornerbacks for Detroit. I love CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he's not going to save the bad secondary play of Detroit. And this ain't Baker Mayfield. As a matter of fact, Baker might be a little bit better than Brock Purdy, or might be on the same level. The difference, they have Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey. And I think that'll be the biggest difference because, listen, I want to have some type of faith in Detroit, but from what I've seen, Detroit could have lost today. Like, it's hard for me to have faith in the Detroit team because while I don't think the 49ers are a legitimate Super Bowl contending team if they had to play against other Super Bowl contending teams, in the NFC, yeah, they definitely a Super Bowl contending team because of look at who they got to go against. And I don't think Detroit is a Super Bowl contending team, period. So, listen, Detroit winning next week would be the biggest shock to me of the season because I have no faith that Detroit is winning that game. Looking at Detroit play against the Bucks today, they got that interception that sealed the win for them. But listen, if Baker Mayfield was a better quarterback, if the receivers didn't drop so many passes, if it was better play calling in Tampa Bay could have won this game. Tampa Bay left opportunities out there on the field, point blank period. Baker missed some throws, some drop. I didn't see too many drops that was really that egregious, but they did have some bad drops that probably would have led to points on the drive. I know a lot of people blaming Mike Evans for that last throw by Baker. That was a bad throw. I don't know how people blaming Mike Evans for that, but Baker is white, so and he did just have a comeback season for a lot of white people, so he definitely gonna get the white support right now. I wonder how dangerous he woke up feeling today. But hey, Tampa Bay probably gonna re-sign Baker to a extension, probably like a 2-3 year extension with an option in the 3rd year or something like that. I can see them giving him a contract. What they better hope is that the rest of the division don't get better at the quarterback position, because if they do, the Tampa Bay is not headed back to the playoffs. But I do like Tampa Bay's roster to an extent. They got a decent roster. It's like CJ Gardner-Johnson said, if they had a better quarterback, this would be a legitimate team. I'm trying to tell you. But shout out to Baker on a good season. I'm not going to hate on the man. He had a good season. But, like he said about Lamar in that game, we knew if we made him throw, we win that game. So, you know, shout out to Baker, man. I don't be bragging about people. I don't be trying to talk shit about people. Oh, he going to Cancun. I never been to Cancun. I'm pretty sure I'd enjoy a stay in Cancun. So, you know, I don't even know why people throw that shit around, especially people who ain't even compete. It'd be crazy. Fans, man. But shout out to Baker. And one thing that I saw is Todd Bowles, man. Hey, he definitely earned his job, his stay. He did a great coaching job this year. I'm not going to lie to you. He did a phenomenal coaching job. And it was a trash ass division, so I can't really give him or Baker a shit ton of credit, but they did what they had to do to get as far as they had to get, even though I do not think the competition in the NFC is nearly as tough or stiff as the competition in the AFC. But, you know, like in my mind, Buffalo, Kansas City. But it would have been hard for me to pick any of these teams in the NFC over an AFC team in the playoffs. Let me just put it to you like that. I ain't even got to think about it too hard. We had another game, though. We talked about Green Bay lost 21. Oh, yeah. Now, the kick at the end of the game, because I understand, you know, we talking about that interception by Jordan Love. But the kicker missed a fucking kick that would have made the game a 7-point game, bro. That kick was more important to me. I don't know if it was more important. I'm trying to think what had happened up to that point. See, the Bills had a lot of breaks happen for them up to that point. Yeah, that was just a rough one for the that was a rough one. I mean, in both games, it is a rough one. It's a little bit different for the Bills, in my opinion, because the Bills, that kick in that Packers game was not for the game. If they hit that game, that's just a 7-point game, meaning that when San Fran goes down, if they get 3, they can't lose unless the San Fran go for a 2-point conversion, which Kyle Shanahan wouldn't have done that. Buffalo missing that kick, yeah, it tie up the game. So I guess it's the same. Because, yeah, it tied the game. You know what I think it is? Buffalo, to me, could not celebrate tying up the game because Pat Mahomes could just go right back down the field and score. The chances of Pat Mahomes scoring, mind you, I just saw a stat that he 8-2 in the playoffs when he trailed by 7. The only dude to beat him in them 2 games was Tom Brady. So I didn't look at that as, oh, Buffalo secured themselves a win if they hit this. Nah, Pat Mahomes could still go down the field and beat you. I looked at it different when it came to the 49ers. If you're looking at that game, Brock Purdy was struggling. I did not think to myself, Brock Purdy going to go right down the field and score. If he did, however, I thought that Green Bay would have been able to go back now and get 3 points because of how Jordan Love was playing. So, to me, I kind of feel like that missed kick in that Green Bay game played a bigger role than in the Buffalo game. But Buffalo fans don't want to hear none of that shit. But listen. Who really cares what y'all want to hear? Y'all boys was out there digging up snow and shit for $20 an hour like a bunch of doofuses. And now look at your team. Bunch of dumbasses. But I understand why anybody in Green Bay and Buffalo would hate kickers at this moment. Trust me, I feel your pain, bro. Billy Cundiff is still a bitch to me. Still a bitch to this day. I'll never forget. Lee Evans, ho. You know, I'm never going to forget. So I've been where you been at right now. Buffalo fans. I've been where you been. For Green Bay, I think the irritation with Green Bay is, man, we had this game. I don't think Buffalo could say that, oh, we had this game at no point in time. Green Bay could definitely say we had this game. We had this game. But, and I don't really like saying this right here after these type of L's, but it's a great learning experience going forward for this team. Now, I'm not going to be like, oh, you just forget about this season. No, you try to win every season you get an opportunity to, but you could say that they were playing with house money, even though they're not going to think like that. Green Bay has to go. Listen. I understand Green Bay got a good receiving core, a lot of weapons. So I imagine they're not going to go after a top tier receiver. And if that's the case, even though I still think a number 1 receiver would do wonders for this team because Having him have a different leading receiver every month is not great, bro. That's just saying he can't rely on somebody consistently. He got to have change up who he relying on month to month. That's not what you want your quarterback to have to do. You want your quarterback to have one. You want him to be able to rely on everybody, but you want him to know for a fact he got that one number one dude that's going to win every time. Now, I know you got the people who be like, oh, well, he going to throw it to him too much. And bro, if you got a great quarterback, you're not worried about him overthrowing people or throwing it to somebody too much, unless you Matthew Stafford. But remember, we don't talk bad about Stafford on the channel no more. I'm just saying, if you want somebody, if you fear that your quarterback going to overthrow in a sense of he just going to keep throwing it to the same dude all the time, that's a whole different problem. I don't think that's going to happen with great quarterbacks who Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow. The great quarterbacks, they have their favorite targets, and they're going to hit their favorite target a couple times, but they're not going to just zone in and never throw it to other people. So I'm not worried about that with Jordan Love. However, I don't think they're going to go out and get him a number one receiver. I think they're just going to hope these other dudes grow into number one receivers. And if that's the case, I really think they got to go out and they got to stiffen up that offensive line. You got to make sure you have a solid, if you're not going to spend money on the receivers, and you already got Aaron Jones, so you don't need to spend money on a running back. You have to make sure he has as good an offensive line as possible. Not only that, I really think they should go out and get a tight end. Now, I like their tight end that they got. He a good tight end. I think they can be better at the tight end position. Now, tight end is not, as a matter of fact, fuck that tight end shit. They need to go get a middle linebacker. Campbell is a good player. He is not the same player he was, and he do not defend the middle of the field the way you need. Look at Greenlaw. Look at Fred Warner. Look at Pat Queen. Look at Roquan Smith. Look at how the middle linebacker defend the middle of the field. You're not getting that from Green Bay right now. I think they need to go out and stiffen up that part of the defense. And I believe the secondary can get better. Even though you are good in the secondary, I still don't understand getting rid of Douglas. Jair being healthy next year gonna obviously help you. Watch out for Green Bay. Green Bay got a lot of things that they can do in the offseason to make this team better. I really hope that they don't regress defensively. Because the one thing that I do think that they still like, the linebacking core can be better. I like Green Bay's front. I like Green Bay. Green Bay don't have to worry about the front, in my opinion. But that linebacking core and some of the pieces in the secondary, you can get better. Before you even touch anything on offense, as a matter of fact, I would touch those areas on the defensive side of the ball. Because Matt LaFleur going to coach the fuck up out of his offense. And to be quite frank with you, if Jordan Love take another step next year, these weapons will be better because of it anyway. So Green Bay moving in the right direction. I know this is a tough L, a very tough L, because look at how great you played on the road in a hostile environment. But this also is just further proof to me that San Francisco is not the team that everybody keep making them out to be. Like, one of the hardest things for people to do is if the Ravens make the Super Bowl as the 49ers, a lot of people going to pick the 49ers because they're going to be like, well, they played already and the Ravens beat them. No way the Ravens beat them like this again or beat them a second time. The Ravens are going to beat them again. Like, listen, I'm not telling you the game won't be more competitive. I do not see the 49ers beating the Ravens or the Chiefs. And they can beat both teams. But that would require Mahomes and Lamar both playing bad. And I think they would play slow before they play bad. Meaning they'll slow roll themselves into the game and miss out on some things like, oh, they need to hurry up and pick it up. They'll just slow themselves into the game before they just start throwing picks left and right to give the 49ers an easy advantage. I just don't see that happening. And when you look at the 49ers in that Super Bowl against Pat Mahomes, he gave them an interception. I think he gave them 2, and they still won that game. So there's a lot of reasons I don't want to see the 49ers in the Super Bowl, but I just think after you watch what the Green Bay did to them, for one, it put in perspective that a great quarterback is going to always give his team a chance to win more times than not. But it also, to me, put in perspective that the 49ers might be big bullies to everybody in the NFC, but not to teams that have quarterbacks, bro. That's why Jordan Love went into this game without any fear against the Cowboys or against this team, because he know he the better quarterback. And when you the better quarterback, you don't fear the opposing team's defense or the opposing team, period, really, because you're saying to yourself, I'm the better quarterback, so I don't care how good that team is. I give my team that chance to win that team doesn't, because they don't have the quarterback. Now, I saw somebody put Brock Purdy. Now, I saw a couple people say Brock Purdy, they trusted him more than Jordan Love. This is my irritation with the media. And you know Emmanuel Acho's stupid at, bro, why does he not get the hate that other analysts get, bro? You name any bad analyst, and Acho is worse. I do not. You know who he remind me of? Jason Whitlock. He might not come out and say as much ignorant shit as Jason, but he done said just as ignorant shit, just not worded the same way. Acho like to try to talk in riddles and shit like that. He like to say a lot of big words to make people feel stupid. I'm a very smart individual, bruh. I read at a exceptionally high level, bruh. That's why I already knew the shit that he was saying when I was listening. I'm like, bruh, he's saying a bunch of fucking nothing. He talking in circles, chasing his own tail, trying to sound smart, bruh. And everybody around him is stupid enough to think he sounds smart. His football, go look at this show Speak, bruh. Some of the shit he say makes no sense, bro. The things that, bruh, I'm telling you, bruh, the worst analyst on TV, I don't even think it's close. Nick Wright is a bitch too, and he god awful, but ain't nobody worse on TV right now than Emmanuel Acho. Matter of fact, put him and Nick in the same category. Jason McIntyre, I don't put him in that category because he ain't even no analyst, in my opinion. To me, he a side bitch. He ain't even got no big analyst role. When Colin leave, if Colin let him host the show, that's the show's worst ratings every time. So you might as well just bring Joy on the show to host it for you, because don't nobody even fuck with Jason McIntyre, let alone know who this little nerd looking ass dude is. So I be talking real crazy, real shiesty, like I ain't gonna run into these dudes one day when we blow up. I say the same shit that I'm saying now today. I plan on saying the same shit. I really hope most of these dudes is not still big in the media. Well, Jason McIntyre is not big in the media. Like I said, he's a nobody. But yo, you know somebody who haven't got too many flame, who ain't got caught no strays on him? Peter Schrager, bro. Peter Schrager on that Good Morning America. Yo, he a bitch too. Like, he like to run around these white. Listen, I'm going after all these white analysts, these white boy analysts who like to half-ass analyze games, dick suck Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, and never give the legitimate credit to Lamar Jackson. Like this. He said the Ravens wouldn't make the playoffs this year. He put the Steelers in the playoffs. Now, what the fuck have you seen from Kenny Pickett and the Steelers that would have made you think that they was going to make the playoffs over Lamar Jackson and the Ravens? But he got to get on TV week after week. Nobody addressed him on that. Nobody called him to the floor for that. When they make dumbass analysts, they get to just, it's a lot of games, and they get to make any old dumbass excuse why they did it. But yeah, Peter Schrager, you bitch. Because clearly you don't watch the games. Clearly you didn't know what you was talking about. But every time they get something right, you hear they just, oh boy. And they get shit right that everybody could have got right. But I digress. But I'm not happy, because I don't think San Francisco really fought their way to get here. It's really going to piss me off if they end up winning the Super Bowl. And the last game that we saw this weekend, I thought I was going to start with this game. Baltimore, Houston. Listen, Houston fans, I told y'all what was going to happen. Listen, my man, my man Gianni was worried and whatnot, not me. I imagine that the first half would have been the rust quarter, but like I said, this is a different Ravens team. This is a different defense, different offense, different type of Lamar Jackson, different weapons. It's just a better team than that team that we had in 2019, which is why I said if Lamar and those boys start off slow, the defense can pick them up. And if the defense starts slow, then Lamar Jackson and the offense won't start slow. They will be scoring early so they cannot get to. The team just done complimenting each other far too well for the majority of the season, especially down the stretch when they started to hit their stride. They just started to play far too well together for me to doubt that they would be able to beat the Texans. And then the bigger part of it is This is why I advocate for playing against great teams and it mattering. The Ravens done played better teams than the Texans this year. And that's no shot at the Texans. The Texans is a good team. The Ravens done played and beaten better teams than the Texans. So it was just hard for me to see the Texans winning this game unless the Ravens just had an all-out bad game. The thing that I think people keep forgetting about the Ravens is the Ravens didn't lose any game this year that they didn't get beat by the opposing team. Every team that they lost to, they had the lead and they lost. Now, you might judge that last game against the Steelers team a little bit different. I don't really count that because Lamar didn't play in that game. But every game other than that one that they lost, they should have won. The Ravens shouldn't have had a loss on the season until that last game of the season when they was playing Tyler Huntley. So it was kind of hard for me to see Houston at their best beating a Ravens team that played at their best. I don't even think Houston being at their best and the Ravens not playing at their best would have gotten the Houston Texans a win. Because, like I said, I like C.J. Stroud. I like everything about the Texans. Baltimore is not Cleveland. Cleveland does not have the linebacking core that Baltimore got. Cleveland relies on Myles Garrett to provide the pressure. Baltimore don't rely on one person. Cleveland has good Denzel Ward, and they got Greg, even though he get beat a lot sometimes. Cleveland got a good secondary. I don't think their secondary is better, if that much better. Like Baltimore has just as comparable a secondary, if not a better secondary. And to me, Baltimore has the game-changing players in that on the defensive side of the ball that you got with Myles Garrett. But outside of Myles Garrett, I don't really look at Denzel Ward as special. I think he is a great player. When I look at Kyle Hamilton, that is a special player. When you look at Roquan Smith, that's a special player. Patrick Queen is a good player, great player. When you look at special, game-changing players, Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith being on the field, to me, it changes things. When you can set the middle of your defense and not have teams constantly, which I think will be interesting against the Chiefs next week, because the Chiefs, listen, I don't care how the Chiefs don't look on offense. That will be as tough a test for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to figure out, because the Chiefs is the Chiefs, bro. I keep telling you, that's playoff Mahomes. That's exactly why I wanted Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to play against the Chiefs in order to get to the Super Bowl. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. This is the man. Pat Mahomes is him. This is who Lamar Jackson. I want when Lamar Jackson get his resume read back and they talk about who did he beat to get his first Super Bowl. As long as Pat Mahomes' name is on that, no other name matters to me. I don't care who the fuck he beat in the Super Bowl. I had to come to the conclusion early in the season, whoever he beat in the Super Bowl was not going to be nowhere near as good as him at the quarterback position or any of those other boys in the AFC. I just had to deal with that. He's not going to be facing a Josh Allen. He's not going to be facing a Joe Burrow. He's not going to be facing a C.J. Stroud or Justin Herbert or Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. He's going to be playing against good to great to quarterbacks and great systems, more so than great quarterbacks. I had to accept that, and that's all right. I do still wish the NFL would figure this shit out, because I do not like, and I just don't care. Somebody told me the other day I should be happy with it because this just means that the AFC gonna have a cakewalk on the Super Bowl. You're not understanding me, brother. You're not understanding me. I don't care about the cakewalk in the Super Bowl. I care about the legacy. Pat Mahomes taking on Lamar Jackson in a Super Bowl, Josh Allen v. Joe Burrow, that mean more for a legacy. Even though a Super Bowl matter regardless, think about Pat Mahomes if he had to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Now Tom Brady got on his legacy that he got to beat the other GOAT in the Super Bowl. I remember when he beat Pat Mahomes, people was like, oh, Pat Mahomes could never be better than Tom Brady now. I was so mad. I was going for Pat Mahomes in that Super Bowl, bro. I was so mad. I was so mad, bro. When the Brady fans started that shit, and I love Brady, but when they started that bullshit right after the game, they was like, yeah, he ain't gonna never be better. Man, bruh. It was a post. This is back before Elon took over. So this motherfucker, I think, did get suspended from Twitter. But maybe he didn't. It was a dude who tweeted as soon as Pat Mahomes and them boys was losing. I think he tweeted this shit in the fourth quarter. He was like, yeah, that dirty nigga ain't gonna never be better than Brady. I ain't gonna lie, that shit made me bad. I mean, that shit made me laugh when I read it out loud. I'll never forget that tweet. Well, that shit pissed me off because I was like, man, these crackers won again, man. These racist crackers won again. Obviously, I don't call white people crackers, just the racist ones I call crackers. But if that offended you, be mad, brother. Be mad. Listen, for Houston, I'm interested to see how next year go. I'm not going to give you no type of prediction right now because I really don't know how Houston going to look next year, even though I like that. I'm not telling you what I told you about the Giants, how if they get knocked out, the Giants got knocked out. I was like, they definitely not making it. I'm not doing that. But it's hard for me to predict this division because if Trevor Lawrence and them boys come back and improve next year, if Anthony Richardson come back and he a better quarterback next year, there's not going to be no easy division for CJ Stroud to win. And while a lot of people have already started saying CJ Stroud is a game changer, him, yada, yada, yada. Bro, I can't do it off of 1 year. I'm sorry. I know what I done said about Jordan Love. I done seen Jordan Love for longer than a fucking year for one. That's one. I understand this was his first full year starting. This ain't his first year in the fucking NFL. That's one. That's why. And also, if Jordan Love wasn't the player that I thought he was, I would have said that early. I would not have been running around here from week one telling you that Jordan Love is going to be the best quarterback in the NFC. I knew what I was seeing from Jordan Love on the stuff that I saw from him. If I had seen what I seen and thought that this wasn't good enough, I would have told you I don't think Jordan Love is going to be that good, that guy. Listen, next year, I'm pretty sure I'll have an opinion, a definitive, because I don't want to just be throwing people into that category of game changer willy-nilly. And sometimes it's easier to see it from certain guys. For CJ Stroud this year, I could say, look at how weaker his division played out at certain areas. Like, look at the downtrod of other, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to do that to him, but I do want to see what he do next year when those other two quarterbacks is healthy again and competing all the way through. That's when I want to see. Like, I didn't deem Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes hymns off of their first NFL seasons. It was the second year where they started making shit shake where I was like, they different. So if you're a Houston fan, this is no disrespect to CJ Stroud. This is not me saying that I don't think CJ Stroud going to be like him. This is just me saying I am not ready to crown him in the sense, I'm not ready to crown him as a Lamar, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen level player yet. For one, that'd be disrespectful to those three because I don't even put Jordan Love on their level yet. But Jordan Love is going to be the best quarterback in the NFC. Now, if CJ Stroud played in the NFC, he would be the second best quarterback in the NFC to me. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because I think people disrespecting Jalen Hurts right now, but I'm not telling you I'm mad if you think CJ Stroud better than Jalen Hurts, but what I am saying is Jalen Hurts done took his team to the playoffs every year he been a starter, and he done took a team to a Super Bowl. So if you're telling me CJ Stroud is better, what I would say is Jalen Hurts has not proven that he is a bad quarterback. You can say that it's the talent around Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to keep pushing back saying before he had that talent, he still took his team to the playoffs and was the driving force behind it. Like, so it's just hard. I'm not ready to Now, I understand Jalen Hurts is not the greatest reader of a defense at times. At times, I don't like what he's seeing in it. But more times than not, Jalen Hurts make the right decision in the right play. So I know we got this thing where we see a player play bad for a couple weeks and then, you know, our opinions start to change. I done seen people do it with Lamar. I done seen people do it with every quarterback basically not named Joe Burrow. I never see people criticize Joe Burrow. To this day, I haven't seen people criticize Joe Burrow. But other than that, it's just hard for me to put any, it's really hard for me to disrespect or not have Jalen Hurts as the second best. Well, not even the second, because I think Stafford is the second best quarterback. Well, Stafford I would put as the first best quarterback in the NFC. Nah, fuck all that. Motherfucking Jordan Love is the best quarterback in the NFC. Stafford would be 2 for me. Jalen Hurts would be 3. And if CJ Stroud was over there, I would have him at 4. Because I don't think Dak Prescott is a game manager to me, as is Brock Purdy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if Brock Purdy coming to these games looking the way he done looked to end the season, it's gonna be a ass whooping for the 49ers. Because here's my thing. The 49ers, as good as their defense done been, how good has this defense actually been? And when I say that, I say that to say, ignore the stats. Go and look at who they done played against. How good has this defense really been? You expect them to stop the teams that they done played against for the most part. You expect for them not to give up too many points to the teams they done played against. You expect them to dominate most of the teams they done played against. How great has this defense really been? That's why Nick Bosa and them boys look as bad as they look when they play against good quarterbacks, because they can't get to those certain quarterbacks who can just outplay the pressures. And they don't have to play against that type of talent on a weekly basis. They play against Stafford twice a year the last 2 years, but Stafford haven't been, bro, in the games against them, it's very rare Stafford done played like a top 5 quarterback. The fact that they don't have to play top tier quarterback play on a regular basis like teams in the AFC do, that to me just make a big difference when it comes to San Fran. And that's probably why I don't look at San Fran the way other people look at San Fran. If San Fran had a beaten a murderous row of teams this year, that'd give me a whole different perspective. But at the end of the day, San Francisco can flex their talent on bad defenses, on average defenses, on teams that's not as talented as them. It's very hard for them to flex on teams with great quarterbacks. Teams that's coached well and got great quarterbacks. Teams that's coached well with a great quarterback with a great defense. I saw what what Cincinnati went down there and did to you. I saw what the Browns did to you. I saw what Baltimore did to you. I saw what KC did to you last year. Like, to me, I understand how people talk about the 49ers because they play in the NFC with a lot of bad to average teams. But just me personally, because of how I view teams and my metric and my criteria for determining how good a team really is. And like I said, this is not me saying San Francisco can't beat Baltimore or the Chiefs. But boy, it'll be real. The Chiefs and Baltimore would have to both have bad games in order for me to see the 49ers beating either of those two teams. Because I think we get so caught up in the players for San Fran. Oh, they got Ayuk. Oh, they got Kittle. Oh, they got C-Mac. None of those motherfuckers play the quarterback position. And if the opposing team have a quarterback that's playing great, because the 49ers defense ain't playing against great quarterbacks all the time, so they can be had when they go up against a quarterback that can just outplay them. Well, now you're relying on C-Mac and all those others to constantly be making plays for the quarterback because the quarterback ain't a superstar. And at some point in time, what happened when they can't make the plays? Because you know your quarterback not going to make it. It's just very hard for me to put San Fran on that same level as I put like the teams with great quarterbacks who play great football. It's just hard. That's why I don't look at San Fran the way I look at the Ravens or the Chiefs. And that's also why I keep saying them motherfuckers don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. I see what Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Pat Mahomes had to play against and go through to get here. The 49ers literally played one of the softest fucking schedules I can remember a Super Bowl team playing. They haven't been tested at all. And every test they had to play, they failed. Now, somebody might say, well, they might pass the test in the Super Bowl. You shouldn't be in the Super Bowl to get that opportunity, bro. That's what I'm saying. But, you know, I digress on that. Shout out to Tampa on a good season. Shout out to Buffalo on a good season. Shout out to Green Bay on a good season. Shout out to Houston on a good season. Your seasons are over, but it was a good season. Hold up. One of these teams, it was not a good season. Tampa. My bad. Shout out to you for getting here out of that sorry ass division you played against. But in all honesty, bro, fuck Tampa Bay. Why in God's name is next Sunday's primetime game. Why is it the Jared Goff and Purdy? Why would that not be the first game? I don't care that they play in California, bro. Why would Lamar taking on Mahomes not be the primetime game? That's crazy. The NFL got to do something. I told you, bro. They on that bullshit with these primetime games this year, bro. However, with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. There will be a part 2 to this show. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Lamar motherfucking Jackson taking on Patrick Goat Mahomes for AFC Championship. Oh, man. The script writers got it right this time. With that being said, like, subscribe, share. Hey, Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.